Hello everybody, good evening and welcome into DogZone, where we look forward to Thursday afternoon and early evening. 5 heats of the Mike Sten Decorators New Zealand Derby. We've got 2 heats of the Lois Henley Memorial, as well as 2 heats of the Teresa McDonald Memorial, so it's going to be an absolute boomer there come Thursday. Joining us as usual here on the show is Mark Rosanowski. Roso, it's a pleasure to be back here on DogZone with you, and Thursday is going to be an outstanding card of greyhound racing.
It will be. It's a terrific card for the Waikato Greyhound and Districts Greyhound Racing Club. They've got big meeting around New Year where they have the Waikato Classic and Waikato Cup, and of course they have the heats for that on Christmas Eve. A lot of that, as good as it does get a bit lost in the holiday racing, but this is a nice time of the year for them to have their Group 1 New Zealand Derby, and the 2 backup Group 2s that we're going to look at as well makes it an exceptional meeting. And of course, as we often say, Andy, it's the heats, the qualifying heats, when all the dogs come from around New Zealand and look to qualify for those finals, that tend to be the best days and nights.
Certainly going to be a good day. We've got about 2 hours of content to pack into half an hour here on DogZone, so we'll crack into the market. Thrilling Talk at 350. He's favourite over Ringside Robson, Thrilling Vice and Thrilling Amigo, and Roso with the form this bloke's in, especially around Cambridge. He's a deserved favourite.
Yes, it's sort of how I see it, Andy, this market. I mean, Thrilling Talk has just had everything go pretty much to plan for him, and Karen Walsh decided not to go with the Golden Chase, so everything's been sort of focused on the New Zealand Derby with this dog, and everything seems to be going well. He's running around that 25.42 time regularly, and he's very rarely been beaten in his career, so things look very sweet for him. And if you are looking at something else at longer odds, say, I don't know, let's just say a Robson at $8, for example, at $3.50, Andy, you can have the backup bet on the favourite as well as backing something a little bit longer if you so wish.
$3.50 seems a pretty handy price for mine, as long as he gets through the quali, which he should be winning. He's going to go around in this final, you would imagine, as a close to $2 favourite. Here's heat number 1. It is race 6 on the card at $5.59. We've got Thrilling Amigo going around in here, Manuka for the Gene and Dave Fahey team, as well as Opawa Viking. Then you've got Trojan Horse and Big Time Brody. We're going to take you to have a look at Thrilling Amigo. This is him winning off box number 4 in the blue rug. Roso, we know what this bloke's capable of. He has won 8 from 16, 5 from 11 on the track, and a 25.68 PB. And with a nice draw, he looks a big chance in this heat.
Yes, and here he is winning this race, and Thrilling Talk running 3rd. So here he is defeating the Derby favourite. We've just had a look at the futures market for that. So he's got that ability to do that. And I know last time out, obviously, he was comfortably beaten by Thrilling Talk, and Thrilling Talk is definitely the one to beat in this series. But that's the ability of Thrilling Amigo there, which is the key. And here he was too in amongst this lot. This was Thrilling Talk winning the Waikato Classic, going right back to early in the new year, January. But it's worth looking at, I think, because Thrilling Talk obviously wins comfortably. Trojan Horse is 3rd, took an early bump as well, and then Quality littered back throughout the field as well. Andy, Trojan Horse obviously relies on early speed, and that certainly didn't work out for him last start at Manawa 2, where I thought he went round a surprise favourite. It was a wet day and he didn't get away that well, but he has left the lids pretty well at Cambridge thus far, and yeah, placed there, and of course he's been Group 1 place. So I thought he might be a chance too with Thrilling Amigo. Anything in there that you think might be a chance down your way? Manuka's had a look at the track now and gets the inside draw.
He's certainly been racing well down here against the best of the best, and even Opawa Viking, he's a speed merchant as a Viking. He can just battle late in the piece over 450, but if he can get away on the Murley, he will certainly let the others know that he is in the race. Heat number 2 will be race number 7 on the card there on Thursday evening. This one's set to get underway at 6:23. Big Time Rod coming up with box number 1, Big Time Rocco box number 4, and then of course Robson, who has the 8. This is one of the more even heats, I thought, Roso.
Well, especially with Robson out there in box number 8, but he has been very good at Cambridge so far. He's won 3 from 4, and then of course his crowning glory at Manawatu Raceway here. We're going to show it because he runs 25.78 here, leading Fusion Cronulla in the match race and ultimately winning the Golden Chase overall. The time before, when he was beaten for the only time at Cambridge, Andy, he lost his back legs early, and then he was in tight quarters across the top, and then he got badly bounced on the turn. So I'm willing to forgive him that. And I think of those dogs sitting around the $8 line, that Robson is certainly worth a look in the form that he showed there last time he was out on race day, and of course what he's done so far at Cambridge Raceway. Andy, let's talk about Ringside. Greyhound, he's had one run down at Ascot Park on the horseshoe down there, ran 4th. Now early on, of course, at Addington he ran ridiculously fast 29.84. He's run 2nd in an Auckland Cup, and here he is in the white rug railing up off a slow beginning to win, and you can see how good dogs were in behind him. A couple of dogs who were in the Team McDonald heats back in the field, and of course Go Brat, who's a Derby rival. How do you think Ringside will go? Box 6 at Cambridge. Is he the sort of question mark dog of the series?
He certainly is a question mark. I don't think there's any doubt he's good enough to win both the heat and possibly the final as well, from if he can bring the Auckland Cup form. Yeah, that first up go at Invercargill was just okay though, so on the one bend is obviously the question mark around him, but Ray Edcock certainly knows how to train a greyhound, we know that, and he will have him cherry ripe ready for Thursday afternoon. Heat number 3 will be race number 8 on the card. This one is set to get underway at 6:49. Thrilling Vice comes up with box number 2. He's been in scintillating form of late. He's won 5 of 8 around here and 7 of 10 overall. A couple of travellers, Famous Lee and No Refusal. Of course, Big Time Pete, we know how fast he can be. We are going to take you back to Thrilling Vice. This is him winning off box number 6. He clocks a 25.54. Roso, this is a class 2 and 3 race, so certainly his toughest test to date for Vice, but the form he's in and the speed that he shows here, he's certainly good enough.
Yeah, no question. Karen Walsh, hasn't she got a team for the Derby here with Thrilling Talk, the standout favourite, but then you've got backups, if you like Thrilling Amigo and Thrilling Vice. It's pretty good, isn't it? And on this particular day, Thrilling Talk ran 42 and 54 here from Thrilling Vice for his 5th win in a row, and comes up with a heat that he can deliver in and make the final. Going to have a look at Big Time Pete here. He had been tried in a heat of the Waikato Classic where he never got off the lids that well, Andy, but here at the Manawatu Raceway he did, and he was able to clear them. Now, we'll see him sit down a bit late, and the time overall was just okay, and he's been beaten since over 410 metres, but on a day where Big Time Shine was just in sublime form, blowing past him. Could be a struggle for Pete, obviously, but he's one of those dogs, Andy. He goes all right off the middle draws, and obviously he needs to jump like that, run like that, and that'll put him in with some sort of chance.
We know how fast he is, don't we? Of course, track record holder over the 410 metres at Manawatu, so there's no doubting his speed. It's just the end of the 457 metres that can be a question for him. Heat number 4 of the Derby. This will be race number 9 on the card, due to get underway at 7:12. No Betrayal comes up with box number 2 for travelling trainer Crafty Cleve. Thrilling Talk comes up with box 3. Of course, he is our pre-post favourite to take out the final. He is the first greyhound we will take you back to have a look at as well. Thrilling Talk, this is him winning off box number 1 in the red rug. This is his last start. He clocks a 25.42, which he's done at his last 2 appearances. And Roso, that's slow flying, and anywhere near that not only wins this, but wins the final as well.
Yeah, exactly, and it was just a little bit crowded early as well. And the thing is that this isn't a flash in the pan. He's done 25.42 2 or 3 times. Thrilling Amigos in 4th there in the blue rug. He's just, as I said earlier, that just the plan just seems to be falling into place for Thrilling Talk, and they have targeted this Derby, it would seem, and not been tempted elsewhere, particularly, say, to the Golden Chase. So I think things working out perfectly for Thrilling Talk. No Betrayal, an interesting runner, obviously, bringing the southern form north to Cambridge for the first time, and it's always very difficult to work out just how things might go, Andy. Let's have a look at this win last time at Forbury Park. Green rug there, back and wide. And what we do know is he's got a motor. He has won a maiden down at Ascot Park. But Andy, how do you think he'll go here in box 2, next to the hot favourite for the overall final?
Yeah, I think obviously he's a better greyhound when he can get wide on the track, no betrayal, and 457 worries me a little bit. I think it's just too short to show his best, especially when you've got a dog like Thrilling Talk, who's more than likely going to be in front of him and running time on the lure early. So it's going to make things really tough for him, and even dogs like Big Time Leads and now Brad with early speed as well. So he could just find himself too far off the pace here for mine, and I just struggle to see him picking some of these up. The fifth and final heat of the Derby will be race number 10 on the card, 7:39. This one will get underway. Double speed for Ray Adcock comes up with box number 2. Mr. Matt in there, Spring Mechanic, of course we know how fast he is. He comes up with box number 7, and of course dual Group 1 winner Diddley comes up with box number 6. He is the greyhound we will take you back to have a look at first. We're looking for the dog in the gold rug of box number 5. He's beaten on this occasion into third, but Roso, we know what this bloke's capable of. He's a dual Group 1 winner, and if he can get across them early from the 6, he's a big chance.
Yeah, the thing about this race and the fact we're playing his third on Monday is just the fact they ran so fast. All about space in front, personal best 25.75. Big Time Lila going a cracker second, and Diddley holding down third, and that's Levi taking ground off him. Well, no disgrace there. Diddley had won the Golden Chase Consolation prior. Look, his Group 1 wins have been on a 2-turn track, and he's probably better there, but he's in the right sort of heat, I think. And you thought we would have a look at Spring Mechanic. He's a dog's only had 5 races, 4 in New Zealand, and of course he broke the maiden record at Addington, ran sub 30 first up here, and this was his second run. And look, he did take a bounce or two early in the running, and I think a dog seemed to scrape his back legs, and that was Odd Knock Anki, who can be a bit freakish at times, running down the outside, and in the end Spring Mechanic's been well beaten. It's probably easy just to write him off on that run, but you've got to remember he won a maiden at Addington, then he's travelled to Cambridge, he's gone into a class 1 and 2. So I think he was always going to be vulnerable anyway. Got far from the perfect run. You could argue it was just a run overall, and he's gone back to Addington and won down there. And look, interested in your thoughts, Andy, on how he might measure up, but you only get one crack at the Derby, and I think they've got the dog that has the capability of doing it. It's probably a shame it's not in 3 months' time.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubting the dog's ability. Sub 30 at Addington, breaking his maiden. He's since won 2 races again around Addington. And just not sure what to make of that run first up at Cambridge. As you say, it was a quick backup off a fast run at Addington, which is always a little bit of a question mark. And he comes up with a slightly awkward draw in the 7. But, gee, he's got some pace, Spring Mechanic, and if he can get around them early, then I think, Roso, he's potentially a chance of letting the other greyhounds know he's in the race anyway. And if he can bring the Addington form to Cambridge, he's maybe a little bit of value for the final.
Well, Andy, it's sort of a case too of this heat, I think, being quite open. Some nice dogs in it, but you know, you've got to either win or run one of the 3 fastest seconds, so it's quite tough to qualify. But you've got dogs like Mr. Matt in there, who won a Waikato Classic heat on the track, Double Speed, who's been there a couple of times as well, and they're from down your way, and they look fair opportunities as well.
They certainly are. Double Speed, a greyhound with early speed, and he'll be putting himself in the race. Mr. Matt, I don't think he's quite racing at his best at the moment, Mr. Matt. I think that's fair to say. He probably need to lift a little bit on what he has been doing, even though he did win 2 back. I still don't think he's racing at his best, and he may have to contend with suspicious minds early on as well. So certainly an interesting heat and a hard one there for the greyhounds to qualify through. Also on Thursday, 2 heats of the Teresa McDonald Memorial, this one over the 747 metres. We see Dinah Wesleyan in heat number 1, comes up with box number 8, which is perfect for her. And we will take you back now to have a look at what she did at her last start. She runs over top of Don't Knock a G here. She's got the red rug upon her back. And Roso, the scary thing for her competitors, she's probably more comfortable wide.
Yes, well, that's the case, and I guess she was always in a nice spot here, so the draw wasn't too much of a problem for her. But interesting watching other runners here. Corborn Taylor hitting the line particularly well, and of course Dusty Gambler as well, and he was clearly in need of the run. Took a wee while to get past G, and that's no surprise. G's very good over the 650, 660, but she's not quite as strong this time in, it would seem. And Dinah Wesleyan's going away nicely. Look at Corborn Taylor there, strong to the line again, and also Dusty Gambler. So I thought there were 3 really nice runs out of there, but you've got to go with the winner on that, Dinah Wesleyan, because, yeah, she just seems to be heading back to perhaps her best, which means she's a really serious distance greyhound. This is a very different race, Andy, obviously. It's a 5-dog field, and Kamata Park was favourite and has won a distance race since Kamata Park, and he's in the pink rope, and he's in the Derby heats this week. But that's Shooter's Hill, and he's come from last, and he's swooped around the outside. He's here in New Zealand, you know, specifically for distance racing and hopefully the silver collar. I guess my concern about him here, he's gone past them really easily. At the line, he's going okay. He doesn't seem to recover that well from his races, and we haven't seen him since then. So my concern is, A, 747 metres, and Harry recovers out of that. If he was to make the final, Harry might be in the final. But again, he adds a lot of interest, especially for young trainer Sam Lizelle.
Certainly does. I think the thing there is run home time only less than a length worse than that of Dinah Wesleyan when she won that 600 metre race of hers. So certainly strong enough to the line there, Shooter's Hill, and he does add interest, as you say, into that heat. Heat number 2 for the Teresa McDonald will be race number 5 on the card. This one's due to get underway at 5:38. Dinah Dave, who adds a lot of interest to the series, draws awkwardly in the 6. We've got Corborn Taylor in the 4. No Anxiety in the 7, who will relish the 7:47 in the big long straight, you would imagine, and one of the potential pacemakers in Avenger Bale drawn up in box number 1. Dinah Dave, we're going to take you back to have a look at him, though. This is him winning his 645 metre event. This was his first go over the journey, and Roso, he flew around here. He was quick. 37 and 69, his run home of 12 and 64 suggests that the rise in trip shouldn't bother him, and gee, adds a little bit of interest to it.
Oh, he certainly does. We know the capabilities of this dog over the 520 metres. Unfortunately, he hasn't quite ripped off a Group 1, but a couple of magnificent placings in them. And, yeah, maybe like Avenger Bale, who finally got his Group 1 win over the 7:32 in the Stayers Cup. Maybe that's what can happen for Dinah Dave. Really like the way he went to the line, really like the way he went to the lure there, Andy, which is probably the key when we look to the 7:47. And as you say, as some sectional suggest, he can do it. Here's Corborn Taylor. We've got to show this because it is a defeat of Dinah Wesleyan. I think, Andy, it's fair to say Dinah Wesleyan better now than she was here back in early March. But Corborn Taylor had built to this Group 1 win nicely. It's over 755 metres. And, you know, she sort of controlled the race throughout, and Wesleyan had a shot and wasn't able to beat her on the night. Things could be different if they met now, and certainly, yeah, I'm very keen on Dinah Wesleyan, but she is short enough to win overall, of course, as we saw in that market. Andy, very keen on the way Corborn Taylor went to the line last weekend behind Wesleyan.
Yeah, it certainly was a good run. As you said, this Wanganui distance, it sort of fell into her lap, Corborn Taylor. As you say, Wesleyan just wasn't quite at 100, and Taylor was, and she came up with the draw as well to use. So it was a solid win from her. There's no doubting her ability. She is a Group 1 winning stayer now, and if she can get across them early, she has to be accorded some sort of chance. Roso, interested to get your thoughts around No Anxiety, a greyhound who hasn't won many, but gee, she certainly hits the line strong, and the big long straights here could really suit her.
Oh yeah, I'm thoroughly looking forward to No Anxiety. Mentioned it recently when I was on the telly the same day as a lower grade Christchurch meeting, and it was this Class 1 race, and I'm sort of suggesting there might be a silver collar prospect in it, but I think yeah, No Anxiety is the way that it goes to the line. So we'll get a bit of a taste for it, I guess, this week. Although I wouldn't write her off depending on what happens in this race, because Cambridge can be a very different track to others.
Certainly can. We also have 2 heats of the Lois Henley Memorial going around on Thursday evening. They will be the last 2 races on the card. The first of them, race 11. Thrilling Carly, who's been in solid form, comes up with box 2. We've got Big Time Lily, Waitohi, and Big Time Blackie, last year's winner, who comes up with box number 8. And we will take you back to have a look at Big Time Blackie. This is her winning last year's edition of this race. Roso was a little bit of a surprise on this occasion, to be fair, and she comes up with box number 8 for the heat. It's not the strongest heat in the world, and it'll be no surprise to see her qualify at least.
And look at the runners here that are back this year, Randy. We talk about 12 months being a long time in greyhound racing. There's a staggering number of these greyhounds back for another crack at this particular race. I was shocked last year. I was on track for this, and I couldn't believe Big Time Blackie had won this. And remarkably too, she then wasn't tried over the 457 again until this year's Bitches race at what was it called, the Silver Star Trophy at the Manawatu Raceway, and she ran quite a nice race in behind Shine and Mia. This is Thrilling Carly running second here. Look, she's racing well enough without actually winning, Andy, but gets an opportunity here off box number 2, certainly to qualify and be a chance for Karen Walsh to have a magical day on Thursday week. That was Asking Jeff coming over the top there. And Thrilling Carly with Waitoa on the inside, who led up from the same draw in a Golden Chase consolation run down by Diddley. I thought might be chances in this as well, but it does look a pretty open series.
It does indeed. I'm pretty keen on the chances of Thrilling Carly. I think she'll get a nice little sit early on here, and I think she's the hardest to beat in that. Race number 12 will be the second and final heat of the Lois Henley. Big Time Mia, who's been in good form, comes up with box number 1. Big Time Shine, who's in scintillating form, comes up with the 6. Talk about Missy in there as well, and Keysile, who was a really nice requalifying trial winner at Auckland, comes up with box number 8. Talk about Missy though, we'll take you back to her winning off box number 1 here at Cambridge, and 25:79 the time she was able to clock on this occasion. Slightly awkward draw for her here, Roso, though, and a little bit of early speed as well.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy for her. This is the ability that she's got. She's run faster too in a 25:68. She's not often out of the money at Cambridge, but like you say, she's drawn the middle with plenty of speed around her, and one of the speed dogs around her is going to be Big Time Shine, who's in box number 6. And got to have a look at this run here. This is the 25:83 on the night of the Golden Chase, and stepping to 457 metres. She had a go over 520 on debut. Big Time Mia, who's part of the series, got box 1 in this particular heat. Gaz's Girl are the ones who run in behind, but she finds the line reasonably well. Andy, then she ran a magnificent 410 metre win in the wet, beating Big Time Pete, the track record holder, and just blowing past him. And then she found in trouble at Hat-Trick last week that I'm not too worried about. I think Shine's a real player come this series.
Yeah, she's certainly a speedy customer in good form. And in relation to the Lois Henley, Philippa Morris went out a couple of weeks ago and caught up with Peter Henley.
So this is the dog that started it all.
That's her.
A very young Peter.
Yeah, a very young Peter, in my 20s.
And your big white lab coats they used to wear.
Yeah, you know, people used to think you'd stolen the bloody coat off the barber. But yeah, that was the uniform of the time, and straight out of the dog trailer onto the track. No security or anything.
No kennel block, no rain.
No kennel block, no.
She looks quite a decent size, but...
No, she was only, I suppose she would have been about 25 kgs.
Also just a little one.
Yeah, but very electric from the box. That's where she won most of her races from.
We still say that now, don't we? Box speed is gold.
Exactly right, exactly right. Yeah, nothing's changed there, that's for sure. But yeah, that was her, and certainly gave the family a lot to cheer about.
You need to have that frame, Peter, not away in your scrapbook.
Yeah. And a very sad day when she died, Philippa, I can tell you. 17 she was, 17 years old.
She had a good innings.
Oh, she really did. Brought a tear to my eye, I'll tell you. But that's rise and shine after she won the New Zealand Championship in 1975, sort of thing. Very, very exciting time.
So she technically won the first ever New Zealand Cup?
Yeah, at Curie too, yeah.
Yep. What's this in the back here?
Oh, this is the record of rise and shine, sort of thing.
That's amazing. So that's all. So obviously this used to all be in their race cards. So
yeah. As you can see up there, Philippa, 3 sapling races. Puppies and a maiden race between it, sort of thing. So yeah, no, they were tenacious chasers, all of them, sort of thing.
She went a fair way, Christchurch, Auckland,
yeah.
Otago.
There was no track in Invercargill then, otherwise we would have gone down there.
We made the paper, New Zealand dog wins in Australia. 74.
Yeah. I've got 4 greyhounds and 26 pigeons out here.
26 pigeons.
Yes, I've got show pigeons, Philippa. Pretty birds they are.
Have you won many with them? Many shows?
No, I haven't sort of been to a show yet, but the first one will be this July. This is Ranger. His race name is Taking Aim.
Has he won many races?
Well, I've had him 6 months and I've only had 3 runs from him because he went sore on me. But he's looking, as you can see, he looks really good.
G'day, gorgeous.
Come on, you bad boy.
He's beautiful, aren't you?
Hey?
You are beautiful.
He's a
You're so
good boy.
shiny.
And this is it.
This is it? Oh, this is her. This is the dog we've been told about. Do you think she'll go over middle distance?
Yeah. She's actually won a couple of races in Australia, sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, she has won a couple.
Yeah, sort of thing.
Hello.
But,
So what grade is she?
just class 1.
Yeah.
Class 1.
Come here,
But as you can see, she's pretty well muscled. You run your hand down her back.
Yeah.
She's really good and firm.
What's his race name?
It's a Strong.
Oh, he's beautiful.
Everyone loves him.
Yeah, he's
And
gorgeous. How about
He's a
leggy he
bit
is?
cross-eyed, love, isn't he?
He is, but he's
a bit
beautiful.
cross-eyed.
When he looks at you, he is. Hello. Hello, you are actually a little bit. So just the 4, that's enough to keep you busy?
Yeah, you'd find it really good,
Yeah.
just the 4 dogs sort of thing.
Nice number.
At my age in life.
Yeah. 1 girl, 3 boys, correct?
Yeah.
You are beautiful, Mr. Cross-eyed down there. But yes, he's I've never seen that. It's funny when obviously doesn't affect him when he's racing though.
No, he likes to rail, sort of thing, but I'm really looking forward to him coming back. You know?
And these are your birds.
Yeah.
Are they friendly? Like when you go in there, are they quite friendly or they're...
No, if you go in at night, you can just walk up and pick them up off the perch, but in the daytime they get a bit skippery.
What do the dogs think about them?
Well,
They don't come out here and go,
one of them made a mistake and got in with the dog.
oh gosh.
And didn't come out too well. So I've always sort of had the pigeons, or not, when I say always, I started off with pigeons and
Just have a real love for them.
yeah, I love the, particularly the ones that you show. I don't race them
Yeah.
because that's more expensive than bloody having a greyhound, as I discovered.
Oh, far out.
Yeah, I think I'll always have a greyhound until the day I die.
Yeah.
And as I said to you, if I come back again, I'd like to come back as a greyhound trainer.
Yeah, greyhound trainer.
There was Peter Henley, and we do thank him for giving us his time as well. Philippa Morris catching up with him. Here's a little look at last week's punting, a wash-up. I'm going to bow out again. 3 bets for nothing, 2 placings. That's just abysmal. Roso managed 1 win from 3 bets with 2 minor placings. Philippa, though, Roso, the star of the show, 4 bets, 2 wins, 1 placing, and Corborn assist getting home at 16-1.
Yeah, how about that for Corborn assist? Well done to Philippa, and remains unbeaten off box number 1, led throughout there. $20 multi on our pair at opening odds would have got you about $650. They both actually drifted, but Philippa taking the chocolates there with a big dividend with Corborn assist. Going with Tommy the Jet at Cambridge Thursday. He's a grading special after beating some really good class 4s on Monday. Queen Big League was a winner Monday and should repeat. Bonus win coming, you would think, on Friday. Vibe, I will go again. Ran 3rd last week at Manawatu off an average, but getting ton of speed. Has got enough speed to lead that field come Monday as well in race number 7. Andy?
Is Philippa's on screen each way at Addington Thursday. Dinah Monty comes up with box number 2. Thrilling Amigo at Cambridge. The local goes around in race 6, box 2. She certainly likes box 2 this week. And I'm going to be on Friday, box 2 for Roma Nozar. Race 6, box 2 there. In terms of mine, I think you probably just put a line through these dogs. The early bank builder, Cisco Rainey, should be getting the job done there off the 1, race 1 at Christchurch on Thursday. Multi Madness, they should all be winning. Dinah Wislin, Thrilling Talk and Thrilling Carly. And I'm taking on Roso, which I never like. Alamein Lady in race 11. Roso, we're going head to head, maybe a Quinella there as well.
Yeah, let's do that. Andy, thoroughly looking forward, obviously, to Thursday and then ahead to the final. I'm away for a couple of weeks, so I'm going to miss that, but I will be watching from afar. And if I have one hope this week, I hope that Peter Henley gets a run in the Lois Henley Memorial Heats with Isn't She Sassy, who's sitting on the ballot because she's going super well for owner AJ Christensen.
Terrible time to take a holiday, it has to be said. But that's all we have time for here on DogZone. We'll be back next week with a full preview and a review of the heats and final of the New Zealand Derby and the other features on the card there. But until then, happy punting.